Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look at 5.3 calculating. This is going to be the first time that you're going to look at this video before we have the lesson. So what I want you to do before we continue with the video is I want you to take out your notebook, because I have a note for you, and I want you to copy this, and I want you to take this to the lesson on Thursday. So pause the video and take your notebook. Okay, now you've got your notebook, we're going to look at 5.3. And 5.3, the subject is the sound power level. I'm going to remove the book, just put the book away. I'm going to show you what it's on about. The sound power level, the unit for the sound power level is decibels. I think this is a unit that most of you would have heard of before. And that the amount of decibels is the loudness of sound. A couple of examples. Put the book back again. In the classroom, as you can see here, in the classroom, there's a sound power level of 50 decibels. So when you're talking to each other and there's a bit of background noise, there's a power level of 50 decibels. But if you're at a pop concert, you can see it's much louder. There's 110 decibels sound power level. If you listen to too loud music, or if the sound's too loud, you can get damage to your hearing. Any sound between 80 and 140 decibels will give you gradual damage to your hearing. So if you stand at a pop concert and you're standing close to a speaker, which is at a very high decibels, you can get hearing damage if you stand there far too long. Because this is 5.3 calculating, we also have to do some calculations today. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Excuse me. Before we move on, 0 decibels, that's the quietest sound a human can hear. So that's the quietest sound a human can hear, so it's very quiet. They call this the hearing threshold. This is the quietest sound a human can hear. I want you to copy this note, pause the video if you haven't had time to copy it during the video, and then continue with the video once you have copied it. Don't forget to do it. Okay, the calculation part. The decibel scale, where we measure the amount of decibels, isn't a regular scale. They call it a logarithmic scale. It's quite a difficult word. It's nice for your tongue to roll on. And we're going to explain this with a little example. Say you're at home, say you were listening to some music on a speaker, and it produces 60 decibels of sound power. It's loud enough for you to hear the music by yourself, but say the next night you have a party and there's not one person in the room, but a lot more people in the room, you would think, okay, I need a couple more speakers. So we have 10 speakers. So my question to you is, if one speaker produces 60 decibels, how many decibels does 10 speakers produce? You would think, just looking at the amount, you would think, okay, that 10 speakers, one speaker produces 60 decibels, so 10 speakers would produce 600 decibels. Unfortunately, this is wrong, and this is where the logarithmic scale comes in. If one speaker produces 60 decibels, that means 10 speakers will produce a total amount of 70 decibels, because that's where the logarithmic scale comes in. For every 10 decibels added to your total sound, so plus 10 decibels, the amount of speakers has to increase at a factor 10, so times 10. That's the logarithmic scale. So if we want to produce a sound of 80 decibels, like right here, how many speakers do we need? 100 speakers. And so forth and so forth. So if we want 1,000, if we have 1,000 speakers, it produces a sound of 90 decibels. Okay, this is it for the calculation. It's not a lot. There's an example calculation underneath the text. If you have a look at that, and then you can see what you have to do in the calculation part. For the next part of 5.3, we're going to look at that in the lesson ourselves. So don't forget to copy these notes, copy this example calculation before you come to the lesson. Otherwise, you're in trouble. No, I'm just joking. It should be fine. Okay, see you guys on Thursday.